All right, folks, it's beginning of a new year, and we want to take some time to talk about mental health and share tips on how to build a healthy mindfulness and wellness routine. Karma Hill is an IFC accredited positive psychology and leadership coach. She founded Conversations with Karma and specializes in helping organizations prioritize employee well being by offering workshops on burnout, self care, self compassion, and positive leadership. She joins us from Atlanta. Good to see you, Karma.
Hi, Candace. I'm excited to be here with you.
Yes, indeed. Listen, we love the excitement. That's what we need for this new year. A lot of people are talking about still the prices of eggs and January 20th. A lot of people have a lot on their minds, which is why we want to make sure people have a healthy mindset. Can you talk to us a little bit about what it takes to have a healthy mindset in terms of changing some of the habits that you might have?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, mindset is everything, right? And it starts with some of those habits that we have. It's easy to get caught up into the anxiety and the fear of the unknown, which is why I thought, mindfulness is a timely topic. One of the things that we need to do is start building some of those, small micro habits that can help us shift our mindset, which is being present, being centered, being grounded, and focusing on some of the things that we can control versus just looking at a lot of those things that are beyond our control, such as January 20th, the price of eggs, things that we really can't do anything about, but they are impacting us, but we can't focus on the things we can't control right now.
Yeah, a lot of people think self-help is sometimes a little selfish, but when we really take care of our mind and body and soul, it helps with relationships in our lives. It helps with everything that we do. Walk us through. I know that you help employees. I know that you help people one-on-one. If someone came to you and said, listen, I'm having this problem. I don't get enough sleep. The kids are getting on my nerves. I can't afford my home anymore. What would you tell them in terms of the steps to take to make sure that they are centered and can take control of their lives effectively?
Yeah, I mean, I like to remind people that, practically, if you think about it, like even right now, we can't really control what happened earlier today. I mean, we can think about it and ruminate it and get stuck in it, but we can't really do anything about it. And we also can't do anything about what's going to happen tomorrow. But what we do have is our power in our now. So we can focus on what we can control. I think we have more access to opportunities, we have more access to potential solutions and ways of which handling our situations. So one of the easiest things that I feel like we can do is to stop and pause and think about where we are right now. Focusing on our breath is an easy one that helps us maybe be able to be balanced and centered in the moment, especially during those challenging times, because it's hard to navigate interpersonal relationships, work relationships, all of the above when we are stressed and we are frustrated and we're angry and we have angst about what's coming. So I think meditation is one, and it doesn't always have to be a long drawn out. It can be something as simple as, hey, we stop for 60 seconds, at some point in our day, and we just focus on the now and think about where we are. Mindfulness walks, body scans, those are some of the things that I encourage people if they haven't really had a robust mindfulness practice to start there with just thinking about, hey, where am I right now? Present in this time, space, reality. What is happening? Am I safe in this moment? Do I have access to meet my needs right now? Maybe not in 5 minutes, 10 minutes tomorrow, but do I have it right now?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And once you realize what you can and cannot control, that allows you to kind of let go a little bit, right?
Just a little bit. I mean, it depends on varies from person to person, but I do think it does. It has for me and many other clients that I serve that. Like when you stop and you think about it, you go, you know what? I actually can't control what's coming next, but I can control what's right now. So if I can think about what I can do in this moment, can I do something in this moment that'll help me for the next moment? Usually worrying about what's coming up is not going to help you much.
Right, right. Now, walk me through. You're the expert. Walk me through what you do when things get a little bit tight and frustration sets in. Are you the person that takes the walk? And if you do breathing exercises, what exactly do you do?
Absolutely. I am that person. So because I'm not exempt, I get frustrated, I get overwhelmed. I usually try to stop and pause and figure out. I do a quick needs assessment. What do I need in this moment? So I ask myself that throughout the day. What do I need in this moment? Sometimes that is, hey, I just need to regulate my nervous system. The somatic practices really help because we carry a lot of the tension and the frustration and the anger and all that. We carry it in our bodies. It's a physiological response that actually happens. So for me, one of the first things I do is ask myself, what do I need in this moment, so that I can identify what I need to do, which practice will help. If I have enough time, it may be, hey, I'm going to go outside, I'm going to take a walk, I'm going to connect with nature, because I've identified the self-care practices that actually work for me. And one for me is being outside in nature. So I am able to connect with, the trees, the sun, feel all of those things, and realize, like, one, I'm a part of something that's so much larger, because I didn't make the sun come up or set or any of those things. So it also helps me put things into perspective, that a lot of the things that I'm worrying about are not nearly as serious as they really are, that I'm putting more emphasis on it. Sometimes if I'm short on time and it's, just only have a few minutes, I just may stop, center myself, and just focus on my breath. And that could be shape breathing, which is picking a shape. Let's say we pick a square, right? And you go, you breathe in for 4 counts, hold for 4 counts, envisioning making that square. The other side, you exhale for 4 counts. And then to finish that square off, you hold for 4 counts. And doing that for about a minute, 60 seconds, has a true physiological response. It activates the autonomic nervous system. That causes that rest and digest system to actually activate, which calms our parasympathetic system that will a lot of times get us kind of in that fight or flight.
Slow down, take a moment. All right, I want to go to our panel now. I'm sure that they have questions as we all enter this 2025. Michael, I want to start with you. A question for Karma.
Karma, Happy New Year, and thanks for coming on today.
Happy New Year. Thank you.
So, with a lot of African American women, they can feel overwhelmed in their daily lives, taking care of children, trying to balance the job and their career and relationships, things like that. And you have this moniker of the Black Superwoman. And a lot of times, African American women talk about not feeling like they can't measure up to that, or becomes overwhelming trying to do this balancing act. What are some tips that you can give to African American women who feel overwhelmed, and that can definitely impact your mental health as well? Okay, what are some tips that you can give to African American women who are feeling like that?
Yeah, absolutely. One, I'll come alongside and say I have definitely found myself guilty, and at times slip into that, feeling like I need to take on the pressure of everything. One of the things that was most helpful for me was setting clear boundaries and understanding what that looked like, and understanding that the boundaries was not always for others, but a lot of times they were for me. Releasing some of that expectation that I needed to be the one to do all and be all, and knowing that by allowing others to actually be able to do some of the things in their own lives, it was empowering those that I love. So for my children, it allowed them to have some independence, where it's like I'm not responsible for all choices, actions, and decisions. And it also helps prepare them for life, that I'm not going to always be there to be able to control that. So that was something that I was able to do to release some of that pressure for myself. And another big one for me was self-compassion, that I had to give myself the same compassion and grace that I would give others. We talk to ourselves more than anyone else. And if the self-talk is those high expectations that many times you're not measuring up to, you're not meeting them, it can cause, depression, anxiety. It does start to work against your mental health. So having kindness, gentleness, expressing to yourself that, like, you're doing the best that you can in this moment. And if there's something that you need to adjust or do differently, make the adjustments. But it's okay to not be able to do everything and be everything to everybody all at the same time.
Oh, yes. Well said. All right, Kelly, question for Karma.
Sure. A lot of advice centered around this topic involves getting off of social media or taking breaks from social media. While I do try to ascribe to it, it's kind of part of my job, right? So how do you balance needing to turn off your phone, turn off your mind as a result, with the fact that you kind of need said social media and phone in order to work?
A very common problem now that, many people are working from home. They have, a lot of digital things that are needed. none of us need it 24 hours a day though, right? Like we have to have some sort of work-life balance. So even though it is a part of your job, what are the parts of the day in which you can say, you know what, I can shut off for this amount of time and give myself the gift of being disconnected and just reconnecting with myself, so that when I do show back up in those spaces, I'm more energized, I'm more alert, I'm more creative. I have a lot more to give in those spaces. Sometimes shifting the frame, reframing it to shift it to look at it that way, that when you are taking that time away, you're coming back to be better, can be helpful with actually committing to a digital detox.
Amen. Amen to that. All right, Matt, question for Karma.
Well, Karma, thank you for sharing your insight. I just have a quick question. I know when we talk about mental health in the Black community, I feel like it's kind of a new phenomenon that people are validating it as something that is just as important as physical health. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on how you incentivize people to seek therapy or seek mental health treatment and to feel that that is just as important as their physical health. How do you address that with people in our community?
Yeah, I would agree with you. I do think that this is becoming more commonplace, that it had been a little bit of, taboo in the past. One of the things that I always like to share with people, and I ask, as simple as, hey, if your loved one had a heart condition, would you say, hey, just ignore it, you'll be okay, pray about it and move on? Or would you actually encourage them to go and see a cardiologist, get the support that they need to take care of themselves? So I encourage others to think about our mental health and well-being in the same way that we think about our physical health. We tend to go see a doctor for our physical things. If you are struggling with something, it doesn't make you weaker. It's why we all are in these professions and we have these people there. Why would you neglect the care that you could give for yourself just because maybe you think you can handle it or it makes you a little bit weaker? So I always try to use practical analogies that help people think about it in a different way, and think about what's the benefit of actually being healthy and whole on the other side, even if that was with the help of a therapist or a mental health professional.
All right, Karma, I want to thank you so much. I know that you do individual coaching for companies also. How do people reach out to you?
Yeah, so my website is conversationswithkarma.com, and conversations is with a K. I have do a lot of executive coaching. Right now I'm enrolling for our Rest and Recharge program that really focuses on executives getting over burnout, which was something that I had experience with. So I use my signature framework to really help leaders go through that. I'm also on social media, Instagram, Conversations with Karma, LinkedIn, Karma Hill.
All right, Karma Hill, thank you so much for being with us and letting us know what it means to be mindful and take a breath, take a walk if you need to. Very good to have you. Thanks for that advice.
All right. Thank you, Candace.